George is still dating Kevin Davis, the sportscaster from the last book. Don't worry, he'll disappear after this book, just like her boyfriend John did. Why does the series even bother to give George boyfriends when they only appear for 1 to 2 books and never get mentioned again? It's a total waste. Imagine if they had given her a reoccurring boyfriend who shows up, more than twice. That would have been way better.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
Nancy and George are spectators at the National Ice Skating Championships. Today's victim is champion Veronica Taylor, who is roommates with Trish O'Connell. Yoko and Elaine are also top skaters. Nancy ignores the other 6 skaters in the competition. 3 of them don't even get names. I'm sure that's because there would be too many suspects to keep track of if we had 10 different skaters and their coaches. Nancy justifies ignoring most of the characters by saying only someone near the top of the rankings would benefit if a skater had to drop out. That's not true. Everybody goes up a ranking when the number 1 skater drops out. Trish's dad is testing out some amazing new technology. The scoreboard projects 3D images to everyone in the arena. It doesn't matter where you're standing, and you don't need glasses. That sounds great! The entire thing runs on a tiny circuit board that's easy to steal, which is not great. It sounds like they're begging to be robbed. The culprit leaves a paperclip on the ice, causing Veronica to fall. She lies down until she learns that Kevin's doing interviews. Veronica instantly recovers, and she flirts as hard as she can with Kevin. George is instantly jealous. Veronica soon apologizes and says she didn't know Kevin had a girlfriend. She keeps flirting with Kevin for the rest of the book, though, so she clearly doesn't care that he's dating George. Nancy sees a suspicious German man wandering near the power control room, and Veronica finds a threatening letter in her pocket. I bet George wrote that letter. In the first round, Yoko's coach Brian yells at her for sleeping in late. Someone steals Elaine's skates. She's forced to use her backup skates, causing her to come in last. Nancy decides 3 sabotage incidents in a row can't be a coincidence. It's another case. Nancy and George just happen to be in the control room when the culprit turns off the power. His female accomplice screams to lure everyone away so he can steal the circuit board. The culprit is the German man. Nancy helps identify him as Dieter Grunsbach, a well-known corporate spy. He doesn't leave with the circuit board right away, because that would ruin the book. He doesn't leave right away, because the authorities are watching him closely. It would have been nice if the authorities watched the famous international criminal before he stole something. Nancy leaves Dieter to the authorities while she focuses on identifying his unknown female accomplice. The only clue is some shiny blue sequins. They match one of Trish's costumes, which is in her locker, along with Elaine's stolen skates. Yoko gets into 2 big fights with her trainer. He swears she'll pay for this. Not long after, the culprit files down her blade screws. The blade comes off during her performance. She lands on her back and fishtails across the ice at top speed until her head smashes against the wall, hospitalizing her for over a day. Ouch! It was really gruesome. The judge looks guilty when he tries to cover up Yoko's injury. He secretly meets with the reporter, which is against the rules. Veronica flirts with Kevin again, and the culprit ruins Elaine's music tape. The judge forces her to do her skating routine in total silence, which ruins the effect and makes her lose. The metal file used to sabotage Yoko is found in Trish's bag. Everybody starts accusing her, and she worries she should drop out. The judge has another secret meeting with the reporter. Nancy follows them, only to learn it's a love meeting. The judge asks the reporter to marry him. Aww. Sadly, Kevin has a secret love meeting with Veronica. George catches them making out with each other. He claims that Veronica didn't start kissing him until George appeared, but she doesn't believe it. George breaks up with him. Dinner that night is super awkward. Nancy sees Dieter lurking around Trish and Veronica's room. Nancy breaks into the room. She finds a sponsorship agreement for Veronica, along with a present box labeled KD. Veronica claims it's a gift from Kevin. She giggles because he got her a new belt. George is furious, while Nancy is suspicious. Who hides a romantic gift in a closet without opening it? Trish cries because no one believes her. Nancy reviews the case with Trish and points out if Trish is innocent, then Veronica must be guilty. As Trish's roommate, Veronica's the only one with enough free access to Trish's things to be able to frame her so completely. Nancy solves the case when she realizes the sponsorship and KD present are both from Dieter's company, not from Kevin. She gets the police, and they find the stolen circuit board inside Veronica's belt. George decides to get back together with Kevin. Yeah, he made out with another woman, but she was a culprit, so it probably wasn't his fault. I don't know, George. I'm pretty sure make out with the hot reporter had nothing to do with Veronica's criminal plans. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book feels like a rewrite of book 16. In both books, there is sabotage at a sports championship. George's boyfriend, a former Olympic athlete, makes out with another woman, and the sabotage does a fake out because the culprit's real target is a piece of technology. Same basic story, with a much better ending in this case. Arguably, book 16 was more interesting because George was the victim there. This also feels like a repeat of the previous book. In both books, there's sabotage at an all-female sports competition. The culprit's accomplice is an angry European man with a history of crime so bad that international authorities are alerted to him, and the culprit is the champion athlete who faked the attacks on herself. The main difference is that Veronica attacks multiple people, while last book's culprit only attacked herself. I guess I'm saying this book is a mixture of books 16 and 69. If you asked me to combine both books in a figure skating setting, it'd be similar to this one. Other reviewers seem unimpressed with this book. I thought it was fine. I don't know, maybe the other reviewers dislike figure skating. I admit the book could definitely have more action, as there's only one point where someone's life is in danger. That's not typical for this series. But I thought the cliffhangers were well done. I kind of like the emotional and dramatic cliffhangers, instead of seeing Nancy have a fake-out death scare for the 1000th time. I give Nancy Drew Files number 70, Cutting Edge, a 7 out of 10.